Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name's Alan, and today I'm here to talk about the recent Gina Carano firing from Lucasfilm and discuss a little bit more of the misinformation that has been spewing around the internet and around the fandom for the past few days, ever since this announcement first surfaced, and also kind of the one-sided information, one-sided argument type thing that is, of course, coming from that one certain sect of the fandom that I won't say by name, but most of you probably know who I am referring to because they generally try this type of bullshit all the time. Really, anytime there's any kind of controversial decision made by Lucasfilm, anytime there's any kind of controversy in the fandom, these people generally have the shittiest of opinions. But this video is not really about them, more so about the actual Gina Carano situation itself and what actually happened. And the gist of it is that Gina Carano got fired because she had been posting a bunch of incendiary posts on her, Twitter, Instagram, all of her social media feeds. She'd been posting constant, QAnon conspiracy theory content. She'd been peddling the Donald Trump conspiracy that the U.S. election had been stolen and had been rigged so that Joe Biden could win and Donald Trump could lose, and most recently, the post where she compared being a conservative or having conservative political views while living in the United States in the 21st century to being Jewish and living in Germany in the 1930s. And I just want to pause real quick and add that if you are more offended by Gina Carano being fired than you are of her making this post comparing being a Republican to being a Jew during the Holocaust, you really need to look inward at yourself and really think about your own morals and ethics and what is actually important to you. Because any way you try to look at it to a normal person that is living in reality, that is just fucked up, hands down. There is absolutely no excuse for it. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later in the video. For now, I just want to talk about, more of the reason why Gina was actually fired. And on top of, all of the posts that she was making that people have been complaining about pretty much since, mid-2020, she also just straight up broke her contract with Lucasfilm, or with Disney, I should say, because in all of these contracts that actors sign to work with Disney, and just like any other contract in any other big film studio or just big business in general, there is usually something called a morality clause. And as far as Gina's social media posts go, well, she just straight up broke her morality clause and thereby breaking her contract with Lucasfilm, which required legal ramifications, which she got. She got fired. No one is trying to censor Gina. Nobody is trying to take away her freedom of speech. If she wants to post a whole bunch of conspiracy theory nonsense and right-wing bullshit, she can do that all day long. Nobody is trying to stop her from doing that, and Lucasfilm isn't stopping her from doing that by firing her. She got fired as a consequence of her actions. She consciously chose to post all of these incendiary statements, to post all of these conspiracy theories. She chose to lift up and praise the psychopaths that invaded the Capitol building on January 6th. She chose to do all of this out of her own free will, knowing well and good what kind of consequences she could and would experience because of it. She got what she deserved, and this is 100% on her. This is not about cancel culture or any of that other bullshit. This is plain and simple her getting consequences for her actions. And that is it. And anybody defending Gina, anybody saying that, oh, they're taking away her freedom of speech, oh, what about her First Amendment, oh, Disney's just full of SJW cucks, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. That's literally, it's just all bullshit. At this point, I honestly do not understand how anybody could be defending Gina Carano. I really, really don't. Especially after the conservatives to Jewish comparison post. Like, what is wrong with people? That should be hands down morally wrong on every single level. There should not be a debate about that. But of course, people being people, and that one sect of the fandom that I mentioned earlier being the people that they are, they want to cry double standards, and they want to cry, Disney is a liberal company full of libtard people, and they're just a bunch of SJWs, and they hate conservatives, and they want to point out the tweet that Pedro Pascal made several months ago now. It was a picture of a concentration camp compared with a picture of kids in cages at the southern border of the United States, and I don't remember the exact text of the post. It said something about this, it was like, "This is America," or something like that. And, of course, some people are crying out, well, why didn't Pedro get fired for this tweet? Because it's the same thing. And it's not the same thing. They are two different things. The post that Pedro made is different. The post that Gina made, two totally separate, independent things. In Pedro Pascal's case, he was simply pointing out the fact that, hey, we're locking up a bunch of kids. Doesn't this seem kind of reminiscent of what Germany did when they were trying to exterminate the Jewish population? In Gina's case, she equated the Holocaust, the genocide of 6 million people, the continued demonization of one of the most persecuted groups in the world for decades upon decades. She equated that to people calling her mean names online for liking Donald Trump. And if you don't see a problem with that, then, again, you need to look inward at yourself and find out what the fuck is going on in that head of yours, because you certainly aren't living in the same reality as a normal person. What Gina did is fundamentally wrong. That is it. That is the statement. There is no argument about it. There should not be any argument about it. What she did was wrong. There is no comparisons to be drawn to what other actors have tweeted before, what other people have said before, what Disney has said before, what Walt Disney himself has said before. That has absolutely nothing to do with what Gina did. What she did was wrong, and she got fired for it. That is plain and simple. That's just it. There is literally nothing more to discuss than that. But of course, she has taken this whole being fired by Lucasfilm and tried to make herself look like the victim and tried to lift herself up as some kind of hero or something to conservatives and conservatives in the Hollywood space or some dumb shit like that. Apparently now she's making a movie with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire and all of the hyper-conservative people online, again, that certain sect of the fandom that I keep mentioning but don't want to name, they're all praising this announcement as, some kind of great leap forward or something. But when you look at this objectively, right, there's Star Wars, there's Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, one of the most prosperous, influential companies in the entire world, and one of the most popular franchises in the entire world, and then some random movie with Ben Shapiro. Like, those two are not the same, and they will never be the same. It is such a huge downgrade that, that's not something to celebrate, honestly. You got kicked out from Star Wars, one of the largest, most popular, influential franchises in the history of the world. You got booted from that, so now you're gonna go make some weird conspiracy theory-filled movie with Ben Shapiro. Dude, I just can't understand being happy about that. Although I guess, considering Gina's alternative would be not working at all, and as long as she's getting paid for this weird thing that Shapiro's making, then you know, hey, good for her. At least she's making money, I guess. I don't know. But at the end of the day, defending Gina Carano, praising her in any way is stupid. Looking at this as anything other than her receiving consequences for her actions and being held accountable for her actions, then that is it. That is all this is. That is all it has ever been and all it ever will be. And if you want to defend Gina Carano, then honestly, dude, just remove yourself from the Star Wars fandom. Like, seriously. Because you do not belong here with normal people. Alright, this is just not your place. Go find some other franchise to bitch about on a daily basis and complain is full of SJW liberal cucks or whatever. We don't want you here. And with that out of the way, I am going to wrap up this video here because I have said my piece on the whole Gina Carano subject, and I'm probably not going to say anything about it ever again, because as with most of the drama in this fandom lately, I just tend to ignore it as much as possible and just move on with my life and with making and posting about awesome Star Wars content that I actually love, and ignoring all of the bullshit that is constantly flying around this fandom. But as always, I would love to know what you think of the whole Gina Carano situation down in the comments. Whatever your opinion is, although, as I just said earlier, if you want to defend Gina Carano, then you can kindly get the fuck out. But that's all the time I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, as those really do help a small channel like this, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Outer Rim Cantina content in your sub feeds every week. That's all the time I've got for today. I hope to see you back here in the cantina next time for another Star Wars video. Until then, may the Force be with you.